Hello and welcome to the big picture. The decision of the UPA government to set up a national counter-terrorism center has created a lot of controversy, with many opposition-ruled states and even some allies strongly opposing it. This has resulted in the Union Home Minister convening a special meeting of all the chief ministers on Saturday here in the capital to discuss and try to allay their fears and convince them about the need for the formation of NCTC. The states have raised issues of federalism as well as encroachment of their powers, especially the powers of search, seizure and arrest bestowed on the NCTC has alarmed the state chief ministers. The government, however, feels that the states need not worry about any encroachment and that this agency is necessary to combat terrorism. At tomorrow's meeting, Home Minister P.Chidambaram has a task on hand to convince the chief ministers about his intentions. In the light of all this, today we are discussing the need for setting up the NCTC and asking the question, will NCTC become a reality? To discuss this, I have with me an interesting panel of guests, Mr. Bhartruhari Mahtab, the Biju Janata member in the Lok Sabha, whose government in Orissa is opposing this center, and Mr. Arun Bhagat, former director of the Intelligence Bureau, and Ashish Khetan, editor investigations in the Tehelka magazine. And I also have on the phone line from Jamshedpur, Dr.Ajay Kumar, the Jharkhand Vikas Morcha member in the Lok Sabha. Welcome to all of you. First, let me go to Mr. Mahtab. Mr. Mahtab, a couple of months back when this issue had become a matter of controversy, your chief minister, Mr. Naveen Patnaik, was one of the first one to raise objections about this. Does he still continue to have the same objections, or has the Home Minister and the government been able to at least allay some of those apprehensions?
No, nothing has changed in between.
Okay.
It was the assurance which the Prime Minister had given to the Chief Minister, to our Chief Minister,
yes,
that this meeting has been called.
right.
And this meeting has been a belated call, but yet we would welcome it, because tomorrow
Right.
the Home Minister has convened this meeting and number of Chief Ministers are attending that.
Right.
And we have an idea, because during the Home Department's demand for grants,
Right.
Home Ministry's demand for grants,
Right.
which was discussed last Wednesday,
Right.
the Home Minister had given an inkling, had given certain ideas
Absolutely.
about the formulation of NCTC.
Right.
But let us see how it evolves tomorrow and what more he is going to say.
He has
But
said,
still the fears are there.
okay,
The matter of encroachment is there.
okay,
The amount of intelligence agency being provided with certain more powers, which never happens in any parliamentary democratic country, that is still there.
okay.
All these fears has to be allayed. If it is allayed, then a situation may emerge differently.
Okay, but the Home Minister, during his reply in the Parliament earlier this week, said that countering terrorism, combating terrorism is not just the job of the centre. It's a shared responsibility. States have to take the responsibility also. So it is not something that you just put it on the centre and say that you handle it. So he is actually putting the onus on the states also to help him out in combating terrorism.
No, that is true. It has to be a joint responsibility. But at the same time, the search, seizure and arrest,
Right.
these are the three major police powers. And you never entrust these powers to an intelligence agency. NCTC comes under the IB. And IB is an intelligence agency,
Right.
which is not answerable or accountable to anyone,
Right.
and to the parliament or to any responsive organ of democracy. That is one of our major objections.
Concerns.
But
Yeah.
the major thing is,
Right.
in his reply, the Home Minister said, that once we arrest him, we'll hand over that person
Absolutely.
to the local police.
Right.
That means the Evidence Act can only come into existence after the arrest is done and is handed over to the police. Why can't this also be done in such a manner that the state police is taken into confidence? In United States, where this idea has been adopted,
Yes.
NCTC doesn't have the police powers.
Right.
It is an intelligence agency.
Okay,
It
let
is
me-
answerable to President of the
Let me-
United States.
Yeah. Mr. Mahtab, let me go to the former IB chief, Mr. Arun Bhagat. Mr. Bhagat, you heard, I hope, what the MP, Mr. Bhartruhari Mahtab, has been saying. Why should IB, NCTC is going to be working under the IB and they are having this search and seizure and arrest powers. This is one of the biggest apprehensions of all the chief ministers. Do you think this is justified?
Well, frankly, NCTC should have a different role.
Yeah.
The role is of examining all the information, the data, as well as the reports which are received, and then analyzing it and disseminating it.
Okay.
And they can also play a part as far as operations are concerned.
Right.
But this will be a major departure in the sense that the intelligence agency is being given powers of search and arrest.
Right.
And the matter doesn't end there. After
Right.
all, the accused have to be prosecuted thereafter. The evidence has to be taken in hand.
Right.
That is, whatever properties are seized or documents are seized, they have to be kept in custody.
Right.
So I feel that this is not a workable proposition. I mean, it's been a long tradition. Even under the British rule, the intelligence agencies did not have, Intelligence Bureau did not have any powers of arrest or search.
Mr. Bhagat.
And no, so why introduce it now? You see, all the arguments, and in the past also one has seen that intelligence, wherever intelligence agencies are given the power of arrest and search, there have been excesses. Whether it is the in Russia or the former USSR or in Nazi Germany or any of the autocratic
Absolutely.
countries
There
where
are,
the intelligence agencies.
Mr. Bhagat, there are already.
So this is a major departure, and one doesn't understand the need for it.
Mr. Bhagat, the Home Minister, Mr. Chidambaram, replying to the debate in the Parliament earlier this week, said that these people, the NCTC will conduct a search, seizure, arrest, and then hand over the arrested people and all the evidence, etc., to the state police. So he is saying, why are you people so apprehensive about it? We are going to anyway hand over the case to you. Is that a practical thing?
You see, no, you see, that is exactly it. You will have a break. Normally when the CBI takes over the investigation, there is already a time delay, and therefore the cases suffer.
Right.
And again, you are starting off with this. What is the need? This is what one is unable to understand. I mean, why this only one step has to be taken, and how are they going to do it? They are not an armed force. They do not have any arms and ammunition with them. They do not have any police powers with them. Only this much of power you're going to give them. I mean, under what law are you going to give them the powers? It has to be under the Act of Parliament. All the police officers act under the Police Act.
This is just
the
an
CRP
executive
acts under the CRP Act. The BSF under the BSF Act. So all of them are acts of Parliament under which they are authorized to carry out search, seizure, arrest, etc.
But Mr. Bhagat,
And also investigations in the case of the state police and the CBI.
Mr. Bhagat,
and the NIA now.
Mr. Bhagat,
So I fail to understand what is exactly the need for this.
Mr. Bhagat, the Home Minister has said that these two agencies, the NIA and the NCTC, are an offshoot of the UAPA. And the UAPA has been passed in Parliament in 2004, it has been amended in 2008. So he's saying when you have allowed NIA to be formed under the UAPA, which is an offshoot of UAPA, then what is the problem with NCTC?
Well, you see, why create another agency like this, and also only for the limited task of seizure and search and arrest? I mean, I can't understand
Okay.
it. Why can't it be done by the NIA? Why must these powers be given to the NCTC? In any case, this is what I'm saying. The NCTC will not have the instrumentality to carry it out.
Okay.
They will have to go to the NIA.
Okay.
And NIA again will have to take the help of either the paramilitary organizations or the local police.
Okay.
Because
Mr.
they
Bhagat.
also have very limited strength.
Mr. Bhagat, let me go to the other MP who is with me on the phone line, Dr. Ajay Kumar. Dr. Ajay Kumar is not just an MP. He was a former IPS officer. He knows the inside out of these things quite well. So let me go to Dr. Ajay Kumar. Dr. Ajay Kumar, you think what the Home Minister is saying, that there is not any need for any apprehension, because once the NCTC arrests the people, they will hand it over to the state police for further action. Is that a practical solution?
First of all, Mr. Bhagat is a very distinguished police officer and the director of IB, and then Mahtab Sahab is also, my colleague Mr. Mahtab has also clearly explained the situation. But I think the problem comes as, the fundamental issues of when we look at governance and resolving police issues, we have this top-down approach.
Right.
So there are few guys sitting in, in the Home Ministry or the Intelligence Bureau, and we look at the CIA or the, Department of Homeland Security, etc.
Yes.
But we forget the fact that our intelligence agency, fundamentally is not accountable to anybody.
Right.
And that's scary, because then that's what I also, and I think a lot of my colleagues have raised it in the parliament, that it needs to be accountable. First of all, let's fundamentally see the counter-terrorism centers is one perspective, but you start with the basic assumption that why after 60 years of independence, we still don't have the Intelligence Bureau under a parliamentary oversight. It can be done within a very, in a select group of, senior most leaders of the nation, etc., etc. Those modalities can be worked out.
Right.
But budgeting, accountability, responses, because any organization which is not accountable is itself a dangerous thing. And you saw it during the FBI period of, or Edgar Hoover, when
Absolutely.
he started using the organization to threaten the presidents of the United States and democratically elected people.
Right.
So one is that as a democracy, it is critically important, and time has come, and I don't know how we have not raised this, that the intelligence bureaus have to be accountable to a parliamentary oversight. First
Absolutely.
Ajay
Kumar.
And I would request, and this is a very serious issue.
Absolutely. I'll come back to you, Ajay Kumar. In fact, we had looked into this issue some months back when one of the Congress MPs, in fact, Manish Tiwari, has moved a private member's bill seeking this kind of accountability to the intelligence agencies. We will come to you. Please stay on. Let me go to Ashish. Ashish, very important issues being raised by all three people.
Exactly. Valid points. I would like to ask Mr. Chidambaram, what are the major problems vis-a-vis counter-terrorism operations or counter-intelligence operations in a country as of today?
Now, right.
What are the major problems? The major problem are lack of coordination between the IB and at times between the state agencies, lack of coordination.
Yes.
And the second major problem is multiple agencies. We recently saw this whole theater of absurd between the Mumbai police and the Delhi police. Absolutely. They were working at loggerheads.
Yes.
And the third and the biggest problem is lack of accountability. You see that in Malegaon 2006 blast investigation, in Ajmer Sharif blast investigation, Mecca Masjid, and also Samjhauta Express, the investigating agencies from day one, they were working on wrong presumptions. And in most of these cases, the IB, the local unit of the IB and also the central IB, and also the state ATS, they were working in tandem. And what you saw that they worked on loose intelligence, there were lazy investigations, shoddy investigations, you destroyed cases, you implicated false people, and as of today, till date, all the police officers who are responsible for sending innocent people behind bars, for destroying cases, they have not been held accountable.
Absolutely.
So what is the problem? Instead of fixing these structural problems, you are imposing a super agency from the top and in the way multiplying your problems. How the creation of NCTC is going to solve the problems, the structural problems that we have vis-a-vis counter-terrorism operations in our country today? It is only going to increase problems, create more chaos and confusion, and instead of fixing the issues of lack of accountability, lack of transparency, instead of fixing these major issues, and I will tell you, you want to fight against terrorism, you have to make the constable on the ground more powerful. You have to give him more power.
This is a very key issue. We will continue this discussion. We need to go into a short break now. Please keep watching. We'll be back very soon. Welcome back. We are discussing whether the National Counter-Terrorism Center will ever become a reality in the context of the meeting of the chief ministers which is to be held tomorrow on this issue. Let me go to Mr. Mahtab now. Mr. Mahtab, if my understanding is correct, all the chief ministers who objected to this NCTC are not saying that we don't need this center at NCTC at all. They are saying that some of the provisions of that is dangerous or anti-federal or encroaching upon your rights. You think if that is fixed, you people will have no problem accepting an organization like NCTC?
What I have understood is that most of the chief ministers
Right.
are saying very clearly,
Right.
we will not accept NCTC in the present form.
Right.
Because this is an administrative order
Executive
which
order.
has been circulated,
Right.
and that needs to be withdrawn. This much I can understand from most of the chief ministers who are opposed to the formation of NCTC.
Right.
But while detailing why they are opposing, they have mentioned 1, 2, 3.
Right.
So in that respect, I would say most of the chief ministers are opposed to the formation of NCTC in the present form.
So would it mean that tomorrow all these chief ministers, or at least your own chief minister, will oppose it being formed through an executive order and instead insist that it should be through an act of parliament, and so that there is more accountability, as people are here, most of the people here have been telling today about how accountability is so very important when it comes to intelligence agencies. So you think that will be the stand which will be taken by your government and other governments?
That will be one of the stand.
Right.
But the major thing is that taking play of amendment of 2008,
Right.
and the position that was taken in 2003 and 4,
Right.
that we need a center for counter-terrorism.
Right.
That idea is not being challenged yet. The only thing is how quickly you can disseminate the information and the intelligence that is gathered at the national level to the respective states.
Right.
That needs to be worked out. And putting it under the intelligence agency, that is being objected openly by most of the chief ministers.
Okay.
And that needs to be addressed first.
Absolutely.
So in that respect, the very formation of this government order is on a wrong footing.
Right. But Mr. Bhagat, why should this NCTC be under the IB? Is it a practical thing? Would it lead to more turf wars? What do you expect will happen if we assume that it will be passed in this, or it will get formed in the manner in which it has been envisaged now?
You see, NCTC, we must understand what is the fundamental reason why it is being formed.
Right.
It is a place where multiple expertise, that is from the defense side, the three wings of the defense, the economic wings, the scientific aspects, and of course the internal and the local, the state CID's information, all this will come at one place.
Right.
And it will be analyzed by expert from all these multiple agencies.
Right.
So it will have, instead of being examined only the information by the department which has generated it, it will be examined by a number of different experts in different fields. Now that is important.
Right.
Because at one place they will sit and they will work together. Now it is immaterial whether they work under the IB or they brought under the Cabinet Secretariat or the PMO, but because there is a tradition of analysis as far as the Intelligence Bureau is concerned, and most of the material which will be coming in will be relevant to internal security, I do not see any objection of it being placed under the Intelligence Bureau at all.
Okay.
Because the Intelligence Bureau, one has to admit, has got the maximum level of expertise. They have systems in place, and this has been recognized. throughout, is being recognized throughout India by everyone.
Okay. Let me go to Dr. Ajay Kumar. Dr. Ajay Kumar, you have worked in the state, you have been a superintendent of police, you have understood, you have worked the system. Do you think what Mr. Bhagat is saying, that the IB is the best thing? You think if an agency coming under the IB, you have worked in the state police, you think there will be a good harmony in functioning between both these agencies with the state police? Will they be able to work in harmony?
So, see, I don't see any reason why. I don't see any reason why state police cannot work in harmony. And the general consensus is, in a modern society, how can you have an agency which will be nameless faces? And I agree with what has been said. So, working with state agencies, they have done it in a number of times.
Right.
I think it is the issue of how much IP wants to walk across. See, one of the things with the Intelligence Bureau is I work closely with them. It's not that, but I have never, maybe I'm wrong. Okay, maybe my experience is that when I was a police officer, the interaction was limited, but most of it, the time it was collection of agency. And I don't want to belittle. See, it's a professional organization. Some of the people are outstandingly good.
Yes.
But coming to my favorite topic, they need to be accountable now. How much of money is being sent? What is the accountability of people? And secondly, most of them are analytical in nature. Are they capable of gathering intelligence on the ground? And second issue is, so it's all combined. So net, you need to work with the state agency. You don't need an organization which is extra constitutional. And you need to
make one point. Very quick point.
Accountable.
Okay. Do you think the state governments will be able to, in the manner in which it is being envisaged, Mr. Bhagat is fully in favor of it being under the IB. But there are a lot of people who have a lot of apprehensions about it.
See, whether you have it under the IB or you have it under the Home Secretary, that is immaterial. If you are talking about an agency or a wing under the IB or a separate agency, which can focus all its efforts and energy and which can bring expertise from different walks of the life, as Mr. Bhagat pointed out, and those people can just focus on joining the dots, analyzing,
collating information,
and then transmitting
it
in quick time to the concerned state police agency. I think nobody has a problem with that. But the biggest problem with the current setup or with the current proposal, which everybody has, is of giving extraordinary police powers of seizure, of arrest, of raid to an agency which will not be accountable to Parliament, which will not be accountable to the political setup, which will be manned by people who will be nameless, faceless. We would not know them. We don't know that this particular officer is posted at a police station or at a agency, state ATS, Mumbai ATS, UP ATS. They all have names, faces. You can go, you know who has arrested. But here you are giving a nameless, faceless agency the powers to carry out arrests, seizures, raids. It's fine to say on paper that the moment they arrest, the moment they carry out a raid, they will hand over the accused to the state agency. It's one thing to say it on paper, but we know how it plays out in practical life. You have people in illegal custody for days, for weeks on end.
Absolutely.
And there are all kinds of...
Mr. Mahtab, Home Minister also made an interesting observation in the Parliament earlier this week. He said NIA, if you go by the standards of NIA, which is a very new organization, NIA has done extremely well. It has handled 40 cases so far, 22 of them already charge-sheeted. So NCTC will also be a very effective organization. So he's pleading with the state governments to accept this. Do you think this argument will in any way hold up before the chief ministers who are opposing this?
It will not hold any water at all.
Right.
Because the concept of NCTC is a borrowed concept from United States of America.
Right.
And in United States, the NCTC is under intelligence agency. It doesn't have any police power. It is answerable to the President of United States. As Mr. Bhagat has very rightly mentioned just some weeks before.
So Mr. Mahtab,
this NCTC, if it is only gathering intelligence.
Right. Yeah. Please continue.
And disseminating that intelligence in a time-bound manner, real-time manner, then we have no objection. Personally, I would have no objection.
Absolutely.
But giving them police power, and it will be answerable, if it is answerable to the National Security Advisor or
Right.
to the PMO, then I think it will be much better. It can work in a better understanding with the respective state governments and also with different agencies that are in operation in our country.
Okay. Last words to Mr. Bhagat. Mr. Bhagat, do you agree with Mr. Mahtab that if it is answerable to the National Security Advisor or the PMO, it would be a better organization, one. Second, without the search and arrest powers, this agency can be a welcome feature in Indian investigation process or at combating terrorism?
Well, about the first, I'm not too sure. But about the second point, it is very clear. I think the states will have no issue if it remains a body which analyzes, a body which examines all the leads, all the information, all the data which is coming, and comes to a conclusion as to what is the trend or what is happening.
Okay.
So it has to be a disseminator of intelligence as they pervade.
Okay.
And they cannot, and I cannot understand. Frankly, I have tried very hard, but I just cannot understand what is the need for this police powers being given to the
Okay.
NCTC.
I
For
think-
what purpose? When
Okay,
they will
okay,
not be
Mr.
able to
Bhagat.
prosecute them.
Okay,
they
Mr.
will
Bhagat.
not be able to investigate them.
Mr. Bhagat, thank you. We have completely run out of time. It's pretty evident from this discussion today, and also we have heard it in the past also, that the idea of Home Minister Mr. P.Chidambaram to bestow such powers which can create problems is not welcome. All the people in the panel today are opposed to it, and Mr. Chidambaram is going to have a task on hand, as I said when I started, in convincing all the chief ministers. Let us wait and see what will happen in tomorrow's meeting with the chief ministers. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks to all my guests, Mr. Bhartruhari, Mahtab, Mr. Arun, Bhagat, Dr. Ajay, Kumar, and Ashish, Khetan. Please keep watching. We'll come back with another issue on the big picture.